Alright guys, welcome back to VALORANT News. The VCT kickoffs officially begin tomorrow in the Americas, but loads of massive stories around the VALORANT world, especially with Xeta from T1, formerly of Cloud9, officially announcing his retirement from competitive play right before the start of the season. Remarkable story. So many other Scrimbux as well leaked overnight from the Americas that are very fascinating indeed. Very much intrigued your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always, I would greatly appreciate it. Firstly, it's officially on sale. The VALORANT Champions 2021 bundle is on availability now in China. So this is pretty remarkable. We talked about this the other day. The bundle, by the way, is, I'm pretty sure, cheaper than it was when it was available in the rest of the world at the time. Now, okay, it's cheaper in terms of VP, but I believe that it's more expensive to get VP in China than in the rest of the world. So probably it's a similar number, really. I guess the big question I have on this is, I guess one, is it going to come back to the rest of the world? Which I would say is rather unlikely. But option two is like, well, are the teams from Champions 2021 going to get paid a percentage of this? Because I'm sure that they probably are, you would think, but I don't really know, because maybe Riot's contract was that, well, you know, we'll pay you like a 50% of the sales within the first 12 months, but then Riot think, well, if we put this bundle on sale again sometime down the line, we don't have to pay those organizations, because some of those organizations basically no longer exist, right? I mean, X10 Esports, like formerly X10 Crit or whatever, like that was the big drama at the time because they got top 8 at that World Championship that time, but the rumor was they didn't really pay their players what they should have done from this. Loads of drama. But are Riot going to pay out a percentage of this to those organizations and then to the players? To be honest, probably not, right? So maybe this is, you know, just Riot, like, just getting some free cash in, really, which maybe is fair enough. But yeah, definitely thought I'd mention it. Now, Global Esports, they have confirmed Bazzi is officially back in the team. Now, this is actually really interesting for a couple of reasons. He was on the team previously. They got rid of him. It didn't look like he was coming back. Now he's back. So, as he says, I'm back India. Now, this team is incredibly international. I mean, let's just have a look at this, right? So, you've got Russ, of course, British player. Polvi, Finnish player. Benkai, of course, from Singapore, Bazzi now from South Korea, Lightning Fast from India, and then Blaze King from Indonesia. Now, I believe the reason why they might be doing this, because I'm pretty sure that Bazzi has technically missed the sign-up window to be eligible for Masters Madrid based on the roster lock period. However, there's rumours that, again, Blaze King is having issues with his visa. Now, this wouldn't be the first time that organisations such as Global Esports have had visa problems, because I think these have been going on for some time, but I believe that may be the crux of the matter here, is that Blaze King won't be able to play as it currently looks, so Bazzi might be the man to come in instead. So, I mean, it's a crazy international team. They really are, you know, Global Esports, right? Having a look at some of this stuff, but that's the update on that. We also have HSK. I don't exactly know what's going on here, but he was recently added as the coach to Gen.G, who's, you know, probably a solid player, but not necessarily a player, you would think. But apparently, his role was changed from a coach to a player. So I don't know whether that means he's now like a sixth man or a substitute or something, but even that would be strange, because I'm not sure that's necessarily mandated anymore as it's previously been. So not exactly sure what that is, but definitely worthy of mention. But T1, just a couple of hours ago, confirm a major change to their roster with Xeta parting ways. So as VCT Pacific say, this is the team: Izu, Excurate, Carpe, Xeta, Rossi, and Sire player. Obviously, very interesting team they put together. But yeah, Xeta is now gone from the organization. They say farewell to him as a player, and they go on to confirm that today we announced that Xeta is retiring from VALORANT. We thank him for being with us since the start of the Pacific League. Always remember his contributions. And Xeta kind of goes into detail on this, and you know, I thought Xeta was a really great player to root for as well, of course, on the Cloud9 days, now over on T1 at least for some time. And yeah, he's decided that it makes the most sense for him to step away, talking about how, you know, obviously Counter-Strike player initially, and then over in VALORANT here, gave all of his passion, realized recently that my mental and body health is not like it was before, and even with, you know, the help of the organization, I could talk to a sports psychologist. It's not usual of me since I have low energy compared to before, so, you know, I thought I couldn't help the team given the circumstances, so talk to the organization, mutually talk to them to come up with an understanding. And, you know, also, like, I think next year or maybe this year, he has to take part in national military service, right, in Korea. So, you know, just another one of the players kind of affected like this, right, I suppose. But he's decided that he, you know, hopes he can come back and with a refreshed mindset and energy and passion. But for now, it makes the most sense to retiring to step away. So definitely wishing the best for Xeta going forward, of course. Thanks, I thought was quite nice, really, his former friends and organisation on Cloud9 for what they did for him for some time. But yeah, definitely wishing Xeta the best in wherever his next adventures take him. But there's plenty else to dive into here. Firstly, on the Challengers qualifiers in the Americas, because QOR, the first team officially to qualify from the second set of qualifiers for the Challengers side. There's only one slot now still remaining, and they took down Blinn Esports here 2-1 in the ends. Zeldris top fragged in the grand finals. Not really the grand finals, but you know what I mean. In the winner's decider, shall we say. They won the Breeze, they lost the Icebox, and then they won the Ascent 39. So yeah, congratulations to all involved. They've made it through. Talented team as well, of course. They take down Okonos and that team on the other side of things as well. And yeah, this was the initial reaction here when the boys qualify, which I thought was really cool to see. And we got some nice reaction here on the timeline here from T-Dog as well, saying, you know, keep talking trash. 14 in one map count during the second qualifier. And, well, anyway, quite the statement he makes actually on the second side of this. So exciting stuff to see how he gets on. The bracket now, of course, looks something like the following. So QOR are right about here. And on the lower side, of course, Blinn Esports dropped down to the lower finals there. And then the other teams, the Thinking Men, Ambrosia, Lucky 7 and St. Clair Saints, those are the teams remaining to try and qualify. So one spot remains in challenges and will be claimed by one of these 5 teams. We'll see that basically today, and then tomorrow is when the VCT officially kicks off, firstly in the Americas and then around the world. Fnatic, by the way, I'm guessing this is just bait really, but they've been teasing everywhere that a potential Yoru acquisition could be viable, and I wouldn't say that Yoru is completely like useless in the meta. There is a world in which he might be useful, and I don't know if Fnatic are going to be the team to pull it out, just because, you know, for the kickoff, teams such as Fnatic, you might think, well, do we want to experiment too much? Obviously, they're already a great team. Achieved an awful lot last season. They maybe think that, okay, if we just play our game, we should be good enough to qualify top 2, get to Masters Madrid. But I'm sure that all the teams have to innovate to some degree, and there's been lots of talk as to whether certain teams, certain organizations are cooking something up. So Bose has been talking about Durka on the Yoru. Dirk has been talking about Durka on the Yoru. So, you know, Dirk is like I never bait about Yoru, but I will see. I mean, it's been an agent that's been thrown around as a potential viable candidate. There's been some players that have used him quite effectively over the last month or so. We'll see if Fnatic have anything in mind. Even Durka's profile picture here is a Yoru profile, so I thought it was all rather funny. But we've got to talk about some of the Scrimbux as well. Yay, as he says, first match in 2 days versus T1. Of course, it'll be a T1 without Xeta. It's been too long, he says. But how to predict exactly what we should expect here going forward. So these are some of the Scrimbux. I will say, Liv, from what we have seen against, you know, YFP Gaming here, but also an unknown team, we don't really know who they are, have generally been doing pretty well. So the last Scrimbuxes and over the last few days, whenever we've seen Liv play, they've looked pretty good. They should be good. There's certain teams that will be good in scrims and maybe don't quite deliver the same results in matches. I wouldn't expect that to be the case for Liv, to be fair, but it's worthy to keep in mind. But also NRG, 15-6 here up against Turtle Troop. G2 11-6 against YFP, of course, recent Challengers qualifiers. Also interesting to see some M80 scrims back in action here because, you know, Sentinels versus M80 here, 10-12 in the favour of M80 on this one. But, you know, they're also scrimming Crew as well. So I think it's quite fascinating to see how these teams are going to do. The Americas is so interesting, right? Like, even Crew. I mean, remember what they did last year. Different team, sure. But, you know, at the last chance qualifier, managing to win the entire thing. And they still have, like, there's a roster with a lot of talent on it. I wouldn't be massively shocked if Crew qualified through, you know, the Group C that they're in. I mean, to be honest, they're in a pretty favourable situation because 2 teams at least make it through the group and there's only 3 in there in the first place with G2 and Evil Geniuses, which is not impossible. Cloud9 I'm not particularly high on, but I do think that Oxy is phenomenal as a player. They were down 2-9 to some unknown team though, and you know, these are kind of like middle of the pack teams that we don't really know where they're going to fall. I've talked about how Fury, I think, have a lot of potential as well. So the Americas is crazy, and I don't know. I don't think it's going to be super clear cut which teams are the best. I think there's loads of upset potential there in the Americas. I think it's also true around the world as well, but the talent is just like the strength of talent across that region, arguably just because the Americas, could have been two regions. It could have been North America and South America, kind of Latin America, as two separate regions. They were merged into one, and that's why matches like these are pretty damn fascinating. So the very first game coming up tomorrow is NRG Furia, then Cloud9 MIBR. It then goes Loud Sen on the Saturday, followed by Lev 100T. So Group A matches day 1, Group B matches day 2, then Sunday it has the first Group C match with Crew G2, then of course the winner of that plays Evil Geniuses, and well, again, I mean, EG are a team that maybe, given what Potter achieved with those guys last year, should not be counted out quite so easily once again. And just one final thing here, quality analysis. This is the type of stuff that happens when we get towards right at the end of the off-season on in-game names for a Valorant Pro. So these are the frequencies of in-game name first letters for players. So it's actually quite an interesting list here. We don't see, it's not particularly correlated with the most common letters in the language. It is to some degree. I mean, obviously you see what you might expect at the bottom part of the alphabet, but S is by some margin the most common letter. S, M, B, names like this. This is also the most common in-game name length here, which comes out as pretty much 6 to 7 letters is about right, but anything in the 5 to 8 character range. 3-letter names are pretty rare, so, maybe that's the special cases as we see. And also, vowel content. So if you want to look at it really in detail and come up with the most, likely pro name ever, then you're basically looking at Suluk. This is basically the best name according to this analysis in terms of being an average, bog standard pro player name. Begins with an S, it's got 7 letters, it's got 3 vowels, that's pretty much perfect. So yeah, if you want to have the highest chance of becoming a pro, choose a name using this analysis. But hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.